IP address. Okay, that is my local router IP address. Okay, so then I think I reached ISP provider. This is the path, like the routers between my system to my destination. So this is completely path. So by 10 jumps, I reach my destination. What is the 30 hops count? 30 hops count is like a, you know, you have to reach by 30 counts. Otherwise, what will happen? If there is a possibility that your packet is keep rounding like that. So I will tell. For example, I'm in my home. I have to reach certain destination. There is a lot of streets and all there. So I'm going like this. So the route is blocked somewhere. The route is got blocked. So I can't go further. So what happened? So I take a turn, right? So then I take a turn. I'm going like this, like this, like this, like this, and there is a block. Again, I take a U-turn and going like this, and there is a block. Again, I will go like this, block. So what happened? I'm searching for a best path. So then I reach the destination, but I am unable to reach the destination because of the route is not clear. So then I keep turning. Maybe I will reach the destination also, or my packet will runs here only. Okay, it never reach the destination. It keep humping there only. So what happened? To avoid that kind of point, so then they given a 30 hops maximum. So by that time you have to reach the destination. So this is called a Tracert, guys. So maybe you will get a doubt, that is, so it is IPv6 addresses. Can we get IPv4 addresses wise? See, it is not throwing an error at present. Like this. This is the destination IP address first of all. So we are communicating with IP addresses only. So first we should get a IP address. Who will give this IP address? The DNS server. The DNS server will give you an IP address. Yeah. So this is my router, my local router to my ISP. In between any routers or ISP routers, and it will cross like that. Okay. It is like you are traveling from one place to another place via some stations, right? Via some stations. For example, I'm in Visakhapatnam. I have to go to Hyderabad. Okay. So what is the stations? First, Visakhapatnam, Rajahmundry, or something like, you know, I forget that. So Nedavolu and Yeluru, Vijayawada, maybe Guntur means via Vijayawada is there, and Khammam is there, and as well as Guntur. So both are different routes. So I can go by either Khammam or a Guntur. So both are different routes. Okay, so then finally we reach Hyderabad, right? So depends upon, like depends upon your travel or via kind of stuff. So that is there. I'm still in my ISP only, because these are all private IP addresses. 10.series, 170.16 to 31, 192.168. That is also private. So 172.26 is also a private IP address. Okay, so ping and Tracert is a very important commands we use, and ipconfig /all, ipconfig /release, ipconfig /renew, ipconfig /flushdns, ipconfig /displaydns. These are important commands used in networking. it is still tracing. It's taking a lot of time to reach the destination. Guys, stars represent it is time taking a very long period of time. So then it is time taking. Okay, to get that information. That's it is showing stars. Okay, so again, what is Tracert? It shows how you reach the destination. How you reach the destination. It is showing not google.com, it is showing something different, right? So see, this is some IP, some name. So like so multiple names for a same thing is there. So that is like a duplicate name kind of stuff. It is finally out of my ISP. So it is reaching. Now it is in a public IP addresses. Okay, so like this, finally, you see this IP address and this. Finally, I reached my destination by 13 hops. This is the first time I've seen these many hops it is crossed. Okay, so these are the routers in between my PC to my destination. These are all routers from 1 to 12. We can say like this, or 13. So I crossed that one. So it is it's showing a path. Exactly, say Traceroute or a Tracert shows path. My packet travels from my PC to destination. Okay, so that is, it shows the path. So how to use the command? Very simple. Tracert IP address. If possible, use like this. Just an example only. So normally it is always easy. Use google.com or facebook.com. Why always we are using google.com? Because google.com IP addresses their information very easily, we'll get it. We don't take much time. Okay, so compared to microsoft.com kind of stuff. Okay, so this is very easy to get information. So this is Tracert, guys. Again, so few are some more networking commands are there, but again I'm giving a small list of the network commands. One is to check the IP address, Ipconfig. Another one is Ipconfig /all. So you will get your IP address, MAC address, subnet mask, default gateway, dhcp DNS address. Okay, lease duration kind of stuff. You will get it. And Ipconfig /release. Ipconfig /renew. So these two commands we use it like a so what I'm trying to say it is, if your IP address not changing automatically, even if you change network, not even when you change the network means, for example, now I'm connecting to my GeoNet router. Okay, I'm getting an IP address. I disconnected from Geo and I connected to ACT. So IP address must be changes for a ACT because my router will give you that IP address to my PC. My PC IP address is not changing. I change my network. I disconnect from one router to another router. It's not changing. For example, I went to into Hyderabad office, different network. So my IP address must be changed to that network automatically through their DHCP server. When I connected to their network, my IP address must be changes. It's not changing. So there I have to remove the IP address, remove configured is automatically or dynamically configured IP address menus renew or get new IP address from DHCP server. You can say old IP address, not manual. You cannot remove the manual. Can't remove the manual IP addresses. Okay. Next, another scenario. Another scenario. Another scenario. This is a troubleshooting also, guys. If you change the network, so when you change the network, okay, if you change the network, IP address should be changed. If it is not changing, remove the IP address and get the new IP address. So this is we can able to try. It's a DHCP mode only. So another scenario here it is. You are not your DHCP server. You are not getting IP address from DHCP server PC system or device or PC configure with APIPA change address. So what is this APIPA? Automatic private IP address. Automatic private IP address. Okay. Range is 169.254.0.0 to 169.254.255.255. Okay, this is the APIPA range. So what I'm doing, I'm removing this. .169.254 dot something dot something. So we can say like this. So if whenever you see an IP address, for example, I'm open my ncpa .cpl. For example, this is adapter. For example, I am getting DHCP enabled. Yes, enabled yes means I should get IP address from DHCP server. DHCP server is not available for this adapter, not connected to DHCP. So what happened? I am not getting a proper IP address. I am getting 169.254. You can see also it's not showing IP address. It is showing auto configuration. It's not showing IP address. You can go to other. Okay, so it's showing IP address. DHCP enabled no means it is manually configured IP address. The IP address manual configuration. No means manual configuration IP address. There is IP address. Okay. For example, if you go to this DHCP enable yes, I am getting an IP address like this, proper IP address. Okay, because I got IP address from DHCP server. DHCP enable yes, I got IP address. I got it from this DHCP server. Here it is. I didn't get an IP address from DHCP server, even though I have to get it like this because it is the configuration is yes mode. It is showing auto configuration as a 169.254.105.87. So remember first two things 169.254. So this range of IP addresses called APIPA address range. If you are not getting IP address from DHCP server, your system or a device, okay, configures itself with a 169.254 is a APIPA address range. In that type also, what is the troubleshooting? Check. What is the troubleshooting? Check DHCP server. DHCP server connectivity server and the service and connectivity. Server means all about a server. Check the DHCP server is there or not, connectivity is there or not. So any other things you require. So check the connectivity kind of stuff, any MAC blocks and all. Okay. So next one is you can do Ipconfig release and renew. So in this scenario or in this scenario, so what is the solution? Check the DHCP server. Server is there, connectivity is there. So make sure it is working. DHCP server must be work. Then you have to do Ipconfig release, Ipconfig renew, or an adapter. ncpa.cpl is there now, so go to ncpa.cpl on adapter, right click, disable and enable. First disable it and enable it, problem is solved. But this is easy, this is a command wise, this is direct wise. Okay, this is on cmd, you have to do this command. Okay, so this is one more important commands for a troubleshooting purpose. I covered a small point in the troubleshooting. Ipconfig release, Ipconfig, Ipconfig display DNS. Okay, it shows DNS binding kind of stuff. So like this, Ipconfig. Yeah, even if you see it is unfinished type, so there maybe it's not at all good to give. Why? Because will shows lot of DNS resolving. Okay, so it will display actually Ipconfig dash question mark. So then you can see here it is display DNS. Okay, so what are the DNS things you got it? Flush DNS. It's remove your DNS. Okay, it displays the DNS, and flush DNS. It's remove the cache DNS. Caches will be removed. This is also very useful in a troubleshooting. Okay, so flush DNS is flush out all the DNS cache resolving. Okay, so that's the point here. So in a ipconfig all to see the IP addresses. Release and renew is to remove the IP address configured dhcp configured IP address will be removed, and it will renew the IP address. Okay, so where we use it in generally, if your IP address is not updated, automatically when you are change the network. Okay, for example, I'm here, I got one network, I'm in a different place, different network. I have to get a different IP address through their DHCP server because I configured in automatic manner. Okay, your DHCP server not giving you IP address. Okay, or you're disconnected from DHCP, or DHCP is disconnected. In either scenario, so whatever it is happened, your PC is configured like this IP address. So it is invalid IP address. It is also called as automatic private IP address, APIPA range of IP address. Okay, so what you have to do, check it, the DHCP connectivity, any other troubleshooting related to DHCP server or your router and the things. Okay, once the problems are solved, you are getting old IP address, then you have to release and renew the IP address or disable and enable the network adapter. So these are the point. First I told about a ping testing, one of the troubleshooting thing. Based on the request, based on the replies, you can understand what is the problem. You have to solve the problems according to it. Next, another one is like a Tracert. So how you reach the destination. It is very useful to understand how you reach the destination, any problems in that one like that. Okay, so you can understand. So next one is if you are change the network or your DHCP server not giving you an IP address, or you got a APIPA error. Okay, in that case is how to troubleshoot it. Okay, sometimes network connectivity become wrong. That time flush DNS is also very useful to flush out all DNS, delete or purge or flush out DNS caches, resolve caches. You may get a doubt, sir, again, what is DNS resolve caches? What is DNS? This kind of stuff, what sir is talking, we don't understand. See, look at guys, I'm pinging to my google.com. So look at here, I'm pinging to name, but as I said, I'm saying, as I said, all communications through IP address only. You cannot communicate with the names. You cannot communicate with the names. All communications through IP address only. You cannot communicate with the names. Okay. I have to reach this google.com. Problem is you don't know IP address of google.com. So request will send to the DNS server. Request is going to the DNS server. DNS server will verify IP address of google.com. Different type of DNS servers are there, guys. I'm not going with much details. IP address of google.com. So 142.250.76.36. This is the google.com IP address showing here. Okay, so what happened here? So when I got a IP address, returns, this is the IP address of google.com. So then I can communicate to the google.com with the IP address. So this is the main work of DNS. Main work of here DNS. It is first I got an IP address and I'm communicating with the IP address only. Now, what is this DNS cache, DNS flash, DNS kind of stuff? When I got a IP address in my system, it stores name and IP address for temporarily. Okay, temporarily name and IP addresses will be stored. How long it will store? Till I restart my PC. I restarted my PC or shut down my PC. This temporary data will be deleted. Temporary data will be deleted. So what we have to do is better to restart frequently to clean up the temporary data or catch up data or clipboard data kind of stuff. You can clean up easily. Okay. Again, what is this cache, guys? So it stores your names and IP address in your local PC for certain period of time or a certain temporarily it will stores. So what is the advantage? You don't require to ask your remote DNS server. So what is your IP address? What is my IP address kind of stuff? Okay. So this is the thing. So what is the DNS flush DNS? That cache things will be removed. Flush DNS, the caches will be removed. I don't know people understand or not. I'm keep telling. So like Ipconfig display DNS. You can see what are the caches are there in your PC. What are the DNS bindings are there. So many are there. See like this. Okay. I'm using open board that related cache records. Okay, DNS records. We are looking at DNS records. Okay, so you can flush DNS. Ipconfig flushed, successfully flushed. Successfully flushed. But why I'm getting this data again and again? But if you see, by this time, I got this related cache thing is there, no open board kind of stuff. Cache is there. I am unable to see that kind of stuff. The reason is that is dynamically it is came, so it is removed. This is a statical data, so these are data is in a static mode. We'll see that one later. Again, these are the basic troubleshooting. Last one more command is there. I will tell. That is called a NS lookup. NS lookup will tell you who is your DNS server. Who is your DNS server? It is temporarily showing this thing because of some adapter I configured as this one as a DNS server. NS lookup. What it will show us, we'll see. It's okay. There's so many other type of comments also there. Try NS lookup also. Okay. So first of all, today we discussed about a ping, Tracert, try Ipconfig, of course Ipconfig, /all ipconfig release ipconfig renew display DNS flush DNS, that is also important, but I am going to two more commands, that is ns lookup. Find out how to use ns lookup. Okay, ns lookup is a command. Check the DNS server, the name server, ns lookup. Next, netstat. Netstat is also another command, very useful. Network statistics like protocols, what communication we are doing. For example, I open a something like yeah, Amazon.com. Okay. It's still not opening, but you can see here it is. This is my PC, local PC. This is my foreign address, means remote address. Or maybe if I open google.com. Okay, so the google.com related. So WhatsApp is also going on, right? So this is my WhatsApp. Okay, so there things. This is only one it is showing. So I'm going to another CMD. I'm pinging to facebook.com. I'm doing ping. Ping means ICMP protocol, right? So check it. So what I'm doing, so you can see the statistics from here. Still it is reading very slowly. I have done already. I like, because that's a very old protocol. It is showing only IPv4. I think I will get a world. Okay, so it is actually the communication between source and destination, their protocols and port numbers. It will display. So check that. What is netstat? Netstat. So display protocol statistics, current statistic and current TCP/IP network connections. -A display all connections and listening ports. B, E, okay, fully qualified domain kind of stuff. F, like that. So you can numericals, you can routing tables. -R, you will find a routing table also. So yeah, here it is. You are getting lot of outcomes. So we didn't see in this entire output. This is see. It's not showing any ping kind of stuff. It's a static thing, so that's why it is showing like this. It's okay, but you got the point. So what is the use of this netstat? Okay, useful commands in the network. Yeah, of course, this release and renew also a very important. Display DNS, flush DNS is also very important. Understandable. Networking, troubleshooting, and as well as testing related, networking related commands. Networking commands. Okay, guys. How much time I have taken? More than 1 hour. I think some people already did. Yes. These are the networking commands. That's it. So yeah, I plan to go for a OS layer kind of stuff and or a IP address kind of stuff. Okay. We've seen already how to check the IP address. So then I'll give you a small introduction to IP address only after the break. So take a 10-15 minutes of break. Okay, so we'll come back.